What up? So I'm back in the workshop and I've got the spoiler off. I've laid some slugs down on top of these other slugs. My alley welding is atrocious, but yeah, I've built those corners up and I'm probably not going to bother finishing them back until they're on the car. I've also drilled the extra holes for the fixings, and I've somewhere, underneath, I've cut some more tabs to weld onto the tailgate, and I've cleaned up the areas. This one in the middle, I actually was the first one I put on, and I blew a massive hole, and I also welded it on a bit too low, so I need to cut that off. But I think I'm going to put in the other four, get them all bolted in, and then cut that one off and redo it. But yeah, so I was having an off day for a few days. I mean, that weld's not too bad, but that one was atrocious. So yeah, that's what I'm on at the moment. I got the fixings. Oh, sorry, I'm chewing on a humbug. Basically, I've put the tabs on. All of them are welded on. I haven't actually changed the middle one. And I've put some countersunk screws in there. They don't sit 100% flush because the material's a bit thin for them. But, I mean, it's good enough for the types of girls that I go out with. And I shaped the corners a little bit. As you can see, there's a little bit of finishing work that needs doing with a DA or whatever. The shape isn't absolutely perfect. It's a little bit flat there, but you know, it's, like I said, it's good enough for the sorts of girls that I go out with. And I'm just going to leave it now. I'm going to leave it like that, and that'll be fine till it goes to the body shop and they can do whatever. I also decided I ain't going to do anything more with this bonnet vent until I've got the fans. Well, the fan. I've ordered a fan to go in there, and I've ordered 2 fans for the radiator. But I'm not going to do anything more now until the fans are here and I can install the fan and make the ducting for the inside. I did actually think maybe I should put a little strip of alley down the middle there to follow this ridge in the bonnet on, but I don't know, maybe it'll look gash. I'll think about that. I probably won't do it. So yeah, I think now, I mean, don't really feel like doing too much today, but I've actually got the bits arrived for the dashboard, so I'll quickly show you a minute what I'm going to end up cutting all of this shit away. And there's also a lot of stuff, like there's cables here for all the stalks, they're going to be gone, and then there's the cabling and the plugs for the clocks, they're going to go because I won't need them anymore. So there's a lot of massive wiring under there that I just bundled up safely so I could drive it, and all of that's just going to vanish, don't need it anymore. So I left it because I wasn't sure what I was doing. But basically with the dash, I've got a Raspberry Pi. I've got a Raspberry Pi screen, which is touch screen. I got a Pi 4, and I got the full-on Daddy, the 4 gig one, which is, well, massively overkill, but I decided for the little bit extra cost, I was going to go down this route in case I hate it, and if I hate it, I can make this into a in-car entertainment sort of system for one of my other cars, like my little Micra or my Honda, or I can use it in my house instead of using a laptop. I bought it from Pi Hut, and it comes with a SD card with Noobs on it, which is like the entry or the easiest operator system also, I didn't realise, but it came with a power supply, HDMI cable and a case. So what I'll do is I'll make a little bit of space on the bench and I'll open it all up so you can see like the screen and how it all goes together. So that's basically the computer, and then the screen comes in quite decent packaging, nice and safe. They're the jumper cables to power it up, and then that's the ribbon to connect it to the Raspberry Pi. What I'm going to be able to do with this is I'm going to be able to run Tuner Studio, which is the software for the Mega Squirt, and it'll be touchscreen anyway, and I'm pretty sure these latest ones, the operator system and all that shit, you can actually pull up a little on-screen QWERTY keyboard, so you can actually do stuff. But you can get a Raspberry Pi keyboard or any USB keyboard for cheap, or they actually do like a nano one with a touchpad on it, which I could actually keep with the car at all times, just keep it in the glove box. Even though it's a racing car, I'm probably still going to retain the glove box. What up? So I went home last night and I played around with this thing, and yeah, it's quite a learning curve because I'm a bit dumb when it comes to this. I'm certainly no geek. The videos that I've seen where people are using these as dashboards for Mega Squirt, the people like fly through it so quick. It's like they're talking binary or something, and impossible to follow. But I've got it running and I've got Tuner Studio on there, and it took me a little while with the coding, but I worked out how to make Tuner Studio start right up, which I will try and show you now. In a minute the main screen will pop up and then it will fire up. I need to be careful touching the back. I can't touch the board because I could short it out apparently. So there's a bit of a boot time, but it's going in a racing car. So by the time you fired the car up and it's warmed up or whatever, like, you know, this will be going. As you can see, Tuner Studio starts right up. And then we've got Tuner Studio, and this is just an example project. And there we go. So it all works like a normal Mega Squirt. It's not connected right now, but I could go and put it in my other Micra in a minute and we can see if we can get it to run. I've also got Megalog Viewer on here, and to start it up, this is the shell script, so you double click that and execute. So then I get Megalog Viewer and I can go here and I can open up. This is just a dummy log that I did from my Micra from the Shadow Tuner website via my Shadow Dash on the app. But yeah, you can RPM, AFR, TPS, so you can move this along, check all the AFRs. It says there, look, 15.9. But yeah, you get the idea. Okay, not gonna lie, but that was a bit of a dick to get to connect up. Usually you'd go to communications and find the right COM port on the ECU. I mean the laptop or computer or whatever you're using, and detect or whatever, but that wouldn't work. And also when I tried to set up a new project and search for the correct firmware or whatever, find the ECU, it just wouldn't do it. So what I did was I just started up the example MS2, which is what I showed you earlier, and then it basically said, holy crap, the firmware doesn't match, and gave me the option to look for a new ECU definition. So I clicked OK on that. It said that Tuner Studio has a definition that matches my ECU. Would I like to use it? So I said yeah, and then all of a sudden it's connected and it works. So now I'm going to fire up the car and see if it actually works, which it does. So now I have a little I can actually data log and everything now with this in this car if I put a USB port in this car. So I was close to giving up then and saying that this is a heap of shit, but it's working. So when I buy the full version of the Mega Squirt, which I might actually do today, sorry, not Mega Squirt, the Tuner Studio, I can literally just have gauges on there and I can literally just choose, you know, you can use a designer and design all different gauges and stuff, which is pretty cool. But yeah, might do that later, but for now this will do. I know it works and I can just get on with something else now. This is literally just a mock-up of what it might look like in the car, and yeah, it's pretty good. Quite happy with it. I need to make some sort of a mount for it, which is quite easy because there are screws on the back, screw holes, sorry, on the back of the screen like there. So I just need to make some sort of mount. As you can see, managed to get it all in the case, and just made some holes for the essentials to come through. And I had to make the hole a bit oversized because there's more stuff I need to add. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how that looks in there. Fills the hole perfectly, really. And I'm also working on a way of turning it off, because obviously I want it to switch off with the ignition, and there are GPIO pins on the back, which basically stands for general purpose input output. So I can assign a GPIO, so when I ground it to one of the ground pins on the back, it will start the shutdown sequence. Because it's a computer, you can't just pull the power. Just wanted to end out this video by showing what the dashboard looks like with the full version. This is obviously full screen, and then this is back to the normal Tuner Studio just with a double click, but I think you can just do that on the screen. Yeah, and then there's also DigiDash, which looks like this, which is like the tuner, the shadow dash setup, which I run on my phone. There's loads to choose from, but also you can, this is just a really quick example, you can make your own. Obviously the colors look dull because it's not connected, but you can basically choose any background. So if I wanted to, I could probably take a photo and do a bit of Photoshop of the original Micra dash and make a layout on here that will look like the OG standard dash, which would be pretty cool, I think. And then I've also done a little bit of coding and mucking around to see if I can turn this over without buggering it up. But if I take this wire and put it to ground like so, you can see the LED flash, and then it's gone out, which means that the dashboard is shut down. So basically I just need to wire up that wire somehow. I'll probably buy another board. You can buy a power board which connects to a constant live and an ignition live, and it's got a timer in it, and it does all the starting up and shutting down for you. So that'll be it for this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.